You've just won $250 million, and it's been deposited in your bank account. What are you going to do today? I wouldn't want anyone to know I'm worth that much, although I'd coast a bit at work and relax, but I'd keep everything looking normal on the outside. The only people I'd share this info with is my partner, my accountant, and maybe a lawyer or financial planner. Spectacularly, call out every one of the favors I hate while gifting the one person I actually like and respect with, say, $2.5 million so they can get a good start to their life. They're 23 and probably watch as they tell them all to fav right off as well. This is gonna sound weird, but I'd keep working. I like my job a lot, and it's also one that allows me to take off whatever time I want to if I decide I need a break or want to go traveling or something. Years ago, I had the joke that if I ever won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone. I would just go out to work with a case of beer and drink till they fired me. One day, my boss overheard this plan and he said they couldn't fire me for that. I would have to go for counseling. I'd buy out the company and change my former bosses or the people who mistreated me in the past contract into something so utterly miserable and disgustingly unfair I'd make those favkers crawl before me, only to not give a sh1t and go holidaying abroad while the whole company came crashing down on those people's heads. Call me whatever you want, but that's 100% what I would do first. I can imagine the sleep would not be easy thinking about what you are going to spend the money on, what people to help out, anxiety over if there has been some mistake, etc. I'm getting worried just thinking about it. To type this, I'm going to sit on my couch and just breath, because for the first time ever, I don't have to worry about what I spent today. I don't have to figure out, did I pay the power bill? I don't have to panic in the realization that I spent too much money on groceries and now I'm short for the phone bill. I don't have to feel my heart clench when a stranger number calls that turns out to be a collection agency for something I forgot. I just sit with a cup of coffee and breath for the first time in 80 years. Get a lawyer, accountant, financial advisor, probably end up putting it all into mutual funds held in a trust that pay me out 1% per year, so the principal can grow over time while still giving me more than enough to live on very comfortably. If you're talking about immediate purchases, pay off my house, get my cat some work he needs, buy a decent car, get a problematic tree in my backyard removed, put a new roof on the house, install AC, install sprinklers. I know a lot of people saying that. I bet most people wouldn't last at their current job for long. First major beef with someone above you or coworker that you really hate, and you'd be like, I don't have to take this sh1t. Bye suckers. Assuming this is tax-free post-tax $250 mil, and nobody is coming to tax me again on it. Give half to my wife, the other half is mine, and I will begin plans to move to Ibiza. I will move the money to my E-Trade account and allow robo-advisor in conservative mode to take over and generate the income I need to just live life modestly in Ibiza. I like this one a lot. I'd probably add in simple acts of kindness to strangers and charity too. Having this much money and people knowing, I feel I'd never be able to trust the sincerity of connections I make. But this is a way to have it and still offer timely help and kindness to others around you. Get places to live and food and therapy for my struggling friends. Then get my elderly parents into a place that's more accessible for elderly people. Then go on vacations and pay off my debts and do stuff for me. Then the rest to charity. I just remembered that a friend and I made a pact last year that we would open a gym if one of us won the lottery. So that too. And I promised one of my high school teachers years ago, get him a gift card to Ruth's Chris if I became a millionaire. I don't even know where the dude is, but I keep my promises. Absolutely nothing. I will relax and have a day of peace and contentment that my life from this day forward will never be the same again, with a future of no financial worry. Thankfully, I live in Australia and it's not subject to tax. Fly to a city where I don't know anyone and hire a top lawyer and accountant, probably give half of it to charity, leaves me around $125 million. Anonymously give a bunch of friends, family $2 million each, leaves me $85 million. Buy apartments in London, New York, Barcelona, and Singapore, rent out when I'm not in those cities, Say that leaves me $65 million. Split across international shares, local shares, commercial and residential property, and then leave a bit on cash in case it all comes crashing down. New car, new house, new furniture, about $15,000 to $20,000 on a new stereo, and perhaps $30,000 on a home theater. Contact a lawyer, create a family trust, and set up a few shell corporations. Give a bunch away to my brothers and sisters so I don't get murdered in my sleep. Hire a personal assistant and a secretary. Remember that $250 millions invested at a modest 4% return nets you $10 million per year in cash flow, and since it is capital gains, income taxes is about 15%. Let my mom know that she can quit her job. Make plans to build public libraries in my state. Buy things people around me need but cannot afford. Donate and participate via oversight 30% to charity, specifically to educate children in marginalized areas. Design and build my own house. Invest the rest and live a happy life helping those in need. That'd be awesome. Well, there's a significant difference between what I can afford now and what I could afford from the mentioned amount. I know I would do some serious traveling when I don't have money or time right now. Humanity used to travel thousands of miles with nothing. You don't know how you would do it comfortably, but I'm sure if you decided to make it happen, it could be done. Don't cheat yourself out of your dreams, is what I'm saying. If they did it with nothing, they did, because they had nothing and they had to. I do, and it would be incredibly irresponsible to leave everything behind. And I want to travel comfortably. I don't want to go to Rome and fish out some change from the Trevi fountain. I want to sip my cappuccino next to the Colosseum, then walk down the Via del Corso and buy some souvenirs, enjoy my risotto and drink some nice wine. I did all of these things before, but I ended up going back to my crappy apartment and my boring job instead of getting on the train to Florence, then Milan and Venice. Change it to money that is useful to me. Quit my job, call family and very few friends that they can quit too, then figure out how I want to live my life. I would move into my own house and get one of those relaxing treatments. Also, I would order every absurd thing from the web. It's simple but meh, that's all I need at the moment. After the taxes, keep like $5 mil out, put the rest in a high-yield annual interest account, turn in my 2-week notice. Pay off all my family's debts, call a contractor, order a big SSD drive for my console, and take the wife out to get whatever the hell she wants. Treat my boyfriend to some fancy food. Neither of us has a steady income yet, so we mostly live off basic cooking and bread with spread. Pay off all mine and my family's bills for a year. Take my family on a vacation. Save the rest to live off of for the rest of our lives. I'm not gonna blow my money in big houses and fancy cars. Time spent with loved ones is what is important, not material possessions. Keep $25 million for family, friends, and investments, and give the rest of it away to people that really need it. There's only so much that I would want, but there's way much more that money can do to help others instead of sitting around. I'm going to carry on as if it isn't there, because a ridiculous percentage of lottery winners end up bankrupt, and that's not me. So I'm going to do the smart thing and leave it untouched for 365 days while I continue to live my life and figure out what to do with it without revealing anyone that it's there. Quit job. Hire financial advisor, accountant, and lawyer. Invest in other continents to gain citizenship and residency permits in every corner of the world. Do whatever I like. Today, check my bank balance compulsively and wait for the bubble to pop on my elation when I discover I wasn't actually the benefactor of that long-lost great-aunt who emailed me on my old Hotmail account. If it were real, look for a house more suited my family, no more office in the bedroom and roster to use the lounge. Pack a bag and leave my life for 3 months, taking with me only the dog. Leave enough money for the bills, food to be covered, and a little extra for emergencies. Me time for the first time in 15 years. Also buy a new player for my football team. Ask everyone I'm close with to borrow a decent sum of money and know they can afford. If they say no and they ever ask me for money, send them a screenshot of their refusal and buy investment properties. Invest like $130 million invested for like a half years, then I would buy an apartment that has a pool and bathtub on it, and would buy a XX or a PS5, and I would pay all my bills and buy a good size of food for like 3/4 months, and for end, I would buy some furniture and donate $2 million to charity. Go back to bed for a bit, wake up, buy a couple really specific guitars and amps on reverb. Tell a few of my friends and family to quit their jobs BC, they'll never have to work again. Tell the owners of my 2 favorite bars that they'll never have to worry about making ends meet for their businesses ever again. Visit both those places and celebrate. Then tomorrow, we start working on the animal charity and proper investments to keep everything running smoothly for as long as I'm still alive. Moonwalk out of my job and spend the entire day making sure every cent of any possible debt I have is paid off. Letting my dad know all his Shwanti is paid off too, and we're taking an extended vacation next summer, so start planning. And just to put it out there, I wouldn't stop working, but my work would become something much more enjoyable. Kayak tours into the swamps and stuff. Finally get a marker for my mom's grave, get a good car, pay my bills as well as those of my closest family and friends, fix my house. Oh, today go shopping. Donate 200 millions to a charity or cause, and use the last 50 meters to set up my future. I'd keep working for a bit as I enjoy my job. Probably just give the money directly to the people the charities claim to help. Most charities keep 90% of what they're given. Look at how much the CEOs of the most well-known charities make. Buy more GameStop stock and direct register it with their transfer agent Computershare so the shares can't be used to be lent out hundreds of times over by short sellers. Definitely pay off all debt, probably book a few flights. Hit up Lisa N. Then start a podcast, invite a few celebrities for clout views. Talk about nothing. Call it The Nothing Show, and thrive. Convert it into pounds, then think about how I'd ensure this money lasted me as long as possible. Probably seek advice from professionals, talk to my parents about it, think about taxes, and if I'd need to declare this money to any organizations. Essentially, I want to think long term. I'd send my father $5 million, my older sister $5 million, I'd send my stepmother $3 million, my mother $500,000, and my grandparents on my father's side $500,000. Then I will book a plane ticket somewhere remote, only tell my sister how to contact me, and then disappear. Book the family vacation. I always wanted to take my kids to and fly us first class, then get an appointment with an accountant. Remodel the house I live in so that it's just a bit bigger. I would finally be able to fit everyone around the table at Christmas without having to move the table into the living room and to use every odd chair in my house. Put a bunch in a CD so I can't touch it and it builds interest. Pay off my credit card and schooling, maybe parents' mortgage. Maybe finally take a nice vacation, then continue on with my normal life and no one would know. Donate huge chunks. Convert all funds to Bitcoin, start a cryptocurrency exchange, use all my customer funds to fund my own trading firm that trades with leverage and no stop loss. I will then fly to the Bahamas if Shwanti hits the fan. If it isn't public, not a darn thing except write a will. Live my life, maybe retire early, give money to random people and worthwhile charity, travel first class. That kind of money changes people around you, and I don't want to deal with it. If people do know about it, give all, but about 7.5 million always. Part of that would be a trust fund for relatives' educational and emergency expenses. If they ever harassed me for money, they would be removed from the trust. Let everyone know I gave it away. Pay off debt, buy Hellcat, do burnouts in parking lot at work, and then quit lol, rent a nice house to move my family into while I look for a house to buy. Finally open up the gym that will be right next door to my dispensary lol. That's the dream, a gym with more than 4 squat racks and a dispensary with a lounge for smoking weed in after hitting some heavy deadlifts. The dream. Also gotta get that McLaren 765 LT, because look at it lol. Hire an accountant, a lawyer, and invest $100 million. Every member of my family would get $1 million each, being about $30 million for the entire family. I'd buy a simple apartment and put smart home gadgets on it, and have really nice decoration. My accountant would then tell me what houses I could buy. I really don't know how to spend it, so I just invest and get more so I could help others from my family and donate to charity. My childhood friend has been fighting for partial custody of his daughter against his ex-wife in Canada. I would get him the best lawyers in the world. He hasn't seen his daughter in years. He's a great guy and deserves to see her grow up. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, so I would do it anonymously. I'm going to speak to the local real estate agents. I want to buy a family home and buy several investment properties to lease out. I'm organizing the pay off all my debt and my partner's debt. I'm paying for the kids' school fees for the year. I'm starting the process to get the surgery I need. I'm not quitting my job though. I'll need it to keep me sane. Me, my partner, and the kids are having dinner at a local restaurant to celebrate. After hiring a lawyer and an accountant, I would start charity work. I would to love help people that truly need a helping hand. We need to do more for our veterans and the families of veterans. I would get more out of it by helping those less fortunate. I would still try to figure out a way to make money off of the interest. Go to a very large and respectable law firm, retain a lawyer, put the entire amount into a trust that divides it up to everyone that I want to get a. I have no control over the money anymore. You want some, go see the lawyer. Buy a huge tract of land, start a not-for-profit animal sanctuary, in-house vets and meds to bring sick animals back to good health. Hire a team of former military dudes to go and protect at-risk animals from poachers, hunt, and destroy. After hiring an attorney and an accountant, I'm paying off my mom's debt, buying her a new house and a new car, paying off my wife's student loans, and setting up a nice savings account for my children. Build homes for homeless veterans with huge vegetable plots in every garden, and some form of market in the middle of the gigantic estate where people can come and buy veteran-grown veg. Then proceed to raise awareness about homeless veterans and build more of these veteran-ran estates with more vegetable garden plots and markets, and watch the world become a better place. Pay off my car, pay off mom's mortgage, pay off mine and siblings' tuition fees, buy new house, in that order, and then get blackout drunk so I can forget the girl who broke my heart on Christmas. I legitimately enjoy my job. I would donate half to my job nonprofit and tell the board to only pay me 1 year and keep my salary and donation anonymous, and keep working like nothing happened. Buy my family a home. Give my wife and daughter each a bank account with $10 million that is structured in a way that they only get access to spending the interest so they don't have to manage their income. Best lawyers, accountants, and financial advisors in the country. Invest 100% of it, and then once the first payment from the dividends comes in, I'll live off that every month till the day I die. Even at a measly 5% interest a year, that's still around $1 million per month. You could do literally anything in the world and never worry about going broke. I would buy myself a new bicycle and a ticket for Mexico and enjoy it as much as possible, and give half of it to my children's and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Thank you for the dream. First pay off all my debts, then create a company with the strongest lobbyists, and finally work towards changing all the bullshit laws and regulations on gender equity, climate change, education, and all those areas require immediate attention to. Turning all social media to very private, get a new cell phone number, pay off every debt, call an emergency dinner with all family, pay off all their debts, hire an account and financial advisor, a security firm, install a security system. Probably honestly just sleep. Make sure it wasn't a dream. Go about my day the exact same. Figure out a plan to relocate while keeping the reason why a secret from friends and family. Talk with an accountant and lawyer. I'd end up donating a portion to various charities, groups, and events. Build my dream shop. Continue to live like a redneck deep in the woods. Only difference would be that I'm a rich redneck now, would still drive beater cars. Clear debts, retain both a solicitor and accountant to draw up plan on how to distribute some of the funds to my inner circle of a dozen or so people whilst also achieving a desired level of living for myself. Then when I get home, send off a metric factin of Warhammer $40,000 to get commission painted. Daddy needs a whole Titan Legion. Get my special needs sister's life improving gadgets, being selfish for the first time in a while, and get myself a PC. Get my mother her own car so she can stop depending on a fucking abusive man. That's it. Donating 50 millions at least. Pay off my credit cards, house, buy my mom a new car, probably buy myself and wife a new car. I guess it'd make sense to buy a bigger house in a better location, in though ours is plenty big and in a good neighborhood. The main goal is to never have to work again, so I'd want to keep 100 meters just to pay myself out of every year for spending money. Hire a well-vetted financial planner. I've heard way too many horror stories of people getting rich quick, only to lose it all on stupid stuff before the check even clears. I'd also buy a plot of land somewhere nice and build a house. Not a mansion, a decent house to call my own and never have to worry about rent ever again. Oh, and I'd tell my boss where he can go and how to get there. Probably buy a giant foam middle finger just for the occasion. I would buy myself a modest house and set up a financial portfolio that would provide me with the decent amount of passive income to supplement a low-pay or low-stress job. The rest would be set up as a charitable trust to try and provide affordable housing solutions in my community. I pay off my student loans and also the loans of my best friend. I buy a house with enough space to have a huge garden and space for lots of animals. I secretly deposit money into my parents' accounts so that they don't have to worry about money anymore. Pay off my nursing school loan. Buy my mom, sister and brother a house each. Donate a few million of it to the animal shelter by my house. Donate some to women's shelter in Los Angeles. Find a way to help feed people in other countries. And move the FAFC out of Los Angeles to the PNU. Oh, and quit being a nurse. Get a complete medical workup from top to bottom, inside and out, MRI, X-ray, every lab test there is. Why? 'Cause if I have that kind of money, I want to live as long as I can to spend it, and I want to find what's wrong, if there is anything, and fix it before it's too late. Hire a tax lawyer and hire an investment manager. Invest at least $100 millions on something that gives me nice returns, and that I understand. Whether it is stocks, equity on small companies, or etc., put at least $500,000 on a savings account. The other money I could use it to buy a nice house and car. If anything remains, I could invest it. Keep working and invest the returns for some time, at least 3 to 4 years. Live in peace. Get a lawyer, a trust, and a will, and then find out who comes out of the woodwork and block them. Move my family into the houses of my dreams, find a charity, and get involved. Become a flaming liberal. Take up painting and sculpting. Sell off my assets to live in a grass hut with natives to learn modesty and charity once again, and die happy knowing I made a difference. Relax. For the first time in my life, I can buy my parents a house so my dad can quit his job since he's too ill to be working. To be honest, I can quit my job and work my personal projects. I can go on that trip with my friends that I've always wanted to go on but can't afford. Hire a private investigator to find an old friend. There's so much I can do now, but today, just relax, knowing I can do it. Pay off all my debt, my parents, sisters, and Bill brothers, and give my nephews a generous amount of money for when they turn 18. Next on the agenda is getting a new apartment and looking into creating a homeless shelter, which is one of my big dreams. Also, go to the local street food market and splurge. Confirm with bank it's legit. Let it clear. Hire tax accountant. Retain a team of lawyers. Form a council of them. Financial advisor. Take the after-tax amount and give 10% to various charities. Pay off my parents' debt and pay them back for all the things they've paid for me. Have the council set up a system where only a certain amount be withdrawable per year. Well, after the obvious of getting accountant or financial advisor, I'd pay off my student loans as well as my fiancé student loans. Then I'd fund my fiancé's dream of being an author. He could quit his day job and work on writing full-time. After that, I'd buy a house, I'd still attend college and graduate, and save the rest. Call my mum and ask her when she'd like to visit her brother in New Zealand. He moved out there 15 years ago, and she hasn't had chance to see him since. First thing I'd do with any amount like that is a holiday for my parents and grandparents to go see him. The only thing that matters is the people you love, your family, friends, etc. Dirt poor or filthy rich, they are what is important. Buy my mum, sister and brother's houses for them. It'll be about 50k. Put money in accounts for all nieces and nephews and buy them small houses for when they're older, renting them out and giving them the money till they're old enough to run it themselves. This would cost about 5-7 millions. Start a property portfolio for my son, give him some money for fun and for his further education. He wants to travel, so we would do that. About 20 millions. Get carers for my aunties and my husband's parents as they're all ill. Probably around $250,000. Go on a big family holiday like we did when my nan was alive. About $200,000. Buy my husband and I a house with some land so we can rescue dogs and abused animals. Try a couple of more rounds of fertility treatment before also adopting two children. Leave. You'll see me again when everything is sorted out. Trusts drawn. Wills written. Money is behind an ironclad seal, couldn't even get to unless I do real work to get it out. In the meantime, I'd on a jet and go wherever I want for 6 months. Buy a D2 Spanish or Italian soccer club, and basically play fantasy soccer as my job. I think D2 go for like $100 million, and will probably appreciate in value, so it's not a bad investment long-term anyway. Plus, those are great countries to live in part-time. The D1 teams go for like 5-10x that if you can move up to. I would let it sink in for a day, and not do anything I think about. Impulsive desires would be gone. Then the next day, I would do the business venture that I've always wanted to do. Make a steady income off of it while putting most, if not all of the income back into the company. Any downtime I will be doing other things I like. I already have 4 products I would love to make and produce that has not been manufactured before. Take the kids and grandkids on a trip to escape anyone finding out. I 1. Set up funds they don't need to work. Set up the local food bank with funds to get what they need to feed everyone. Have them hire more people and extend hours and make sure food gets to all that need it. Work with local restaurants to deliver meals to people. Contact my lottery dream home. I'd quit my job, but before I do, I will have fun with it. I'd go to work, but I'd screw a few things up. I'd be a bit rude back to customers who were rude to me. I'd hire a juggler and fire eater and other circus performers to randomly come in. I'd randomly spill things. Probably exactly what I'm doing now. Sitting on the couch watching Big Bang Theory. But tomorrow, buying little flats in all my favorite places in England, and buying a small piece of land in the Rockies in Alberta, so I can camp whenever I want. Work on getting stable, safe housing for my girlfriend and myself. Make an appointment for the specialist that I need to go to, but can't seem to get a referral to because my GP is refusing. Also do something nice for myself, like buy clothes that fit. I have a line of plushies I've been working on, and would love to bring to life with equipment and supplies, or being able to work with a manufacturer. Big money, and having income I am capable of maintaining, and an artistic outlet, would be so much for me. I would actually keep my job. I would buy a modest house, a reliable long-lasting car. I would buy decent clothes that all fit. A good membership at a gym. I would get health insurance, so if I went to the doctor, I wouldn't even see a bill. No matter what the circumstances, I would save and invest everything else. My 3 kids would all have savings funds for after high school. I would have a dedicated sitter for them so I could actually have a life and go out once in a while. I just would actually live, not merely survive. I was just thinking about this the other day. I just lost my Rottweiler after 11 years a day before Christmas Eve. I'm heartbroken. I looked it up. It cost $50,000 to clone a dog. Man, if money was no issue, I would drop stupid money just to have a do-over again with my love. Then I would buy a ranch and employ staff of people. Offer them great pay and benefits to come work for me at the ranch. My Rottweiler ranch would be my dream. Then I would donate tons of money for canine cancer research. I would also offer grants to folks who don't have the financial resources to pay for surgeries that their dogs might need. That would be my purpose in life. To help dogs. Who gives a fafk about having tons of cash if you can't help others that need help? Set up trusts for my nieces and nephews so their parents don't have to worry about college. Pay off my dad's mortgage and move him closer to either me or my sister since mom recently passed. Maybe consider going back to school for fun. Make sure my mom's side of the family is also taken care of. Go to work like nothing happened. Put that money in my savings account and let interest accrue. Get an apartment. Save up my toe and go on a nice vacation when I have enough. Nobody but me needs to know. After taking care of all the legal procedures, I'll get the best doctor and physical trainer and take care of my body. I'll also start learning music and languages to keep busy with everyday life. Being idle invites lots of bad habits and problems. Later on I'll travel around the world. It goes without saying that my family will be well off too. I have an orphanage in Africa. I help when I can. I'd make sure they were set. I'd buy a good friend a house, and of course a lush pad for my family down the road from where I am now, and by the water. I've got the house in mind. I'd also buy a cool sports car after I got back from traveling for a year. We'd stop by the USA and take the whole family to Disney. I'd be all over Africa as I love it there. Travel would be the focus with investment properties. Drop the car off the mechanic to get whatever it is that is causing the check engine light to be on in my car fixed. I've been driving it like that for the last 2 years. Be nice to have it finally be off. Gonna have to get an Uber driver to drop me back off at home. So while I'm out, I'll have him or her take me by the local sandwich shop for a Philly cheesesteak. I got money. So I'm getting the 16-incher with fries and a drink. If the driver wants something, I'll hook him up too. Then once he drives me home, I'll give him a nice little $100 if she was cool. After I get home, I'm gonna look for the Reddit post about what to do if you win the lottery. Use that for my basis of attack.